The Department of World Languages and Cultures at Georgia State University presents Arabic 1001 Grammar. In this third part of the course, we address simple sentences. In this lesson, we continue to talk about the nominal sentence, and in this second section of the lesson, we're going to talk about possessive pronouns. Let's begin with our book. We go from definite, hadha, to indefinite, kitab, and we get this is a book. And if you've been taking Arabic for 7 weeks, you probably already know that adding e to the end of a noun makes it my thing, and this is exactly what we're doing here. We've changed kitab, book, into kitabi, my book, and then we're going to add the adjective jayyid. So the key thing you need to know here is that this is a sentence, not a phrase. When we add the possessive pronoun e or any other possessive pronoun onto the end of a noun, it renders that noun definite. So kitab by itself is indefinite, but al-kitab is definite, and so is kitabi. So this goes from definite to indefinite, and that makes it a sentence. My book is good. Of course, there's no is here. You have to infer it. We can look at our page. We can say, هذه ورقة. This is a page, definite to indefinite. But if we say ورقتي, we have taken the word ورقة and we have put the e suffix on it. But look out, because ta marbuta, ورقة ends with ta marbuta, can only be the final letter in a word. So if we put a suffix on it, we have to untie it. Remember, ta marbuta means tied up ta. We have to untie it and change it back into regular ta. So we don't say waraqa'i, we say waraqati. And it makes it definite because we're putting a possessive pronoun on it, and that makes this a sentence. Waraqati bayda, my page is white, or really, my page is blank. Let's talk about our engineer. Tilka ukhtuk. Ukht is sister. So now I'm going to add the possessive pronoun k on the end. Ka means your, and so that makes it definite. So here we have tilka ukhtuk, definite, definite. So you would think it's not a sentence because sentences go from definite to indefinite. But in fact, this is one of the primary exceptions to the rule. If we have a definite word and then a noun that is definite with a possessive pronoun, not with alif lam, it's perfectly okay to make this a sentence. We just understand that this means that is your sister, because of course that your sister wouldn't really make any sense. Now we can put ukhtuk into a sentence. Let's make it the mubtada or subject of the sentence. Ukhtuk muhandasa. Ukhtuk is definite because it has the possessive suffix. Muhandasa is indefinite, so we know this is a sentence. Your sister is an engineer. It's tricky because ukhtuk doesn't look definite because it doesn't have alif lam, but it is definite because it has the possessive pronoun suffix. So something you're going to have to learn is to recognize words that you already know when they have possessive suffixes on them and look a little different. We can look at this fellow here and we can say ذلك صديقك. So that, and then صديق is friend with a cut on the end, makes it your friend. Both words are definite, but this is still a sentence because the second one has a possessive pronoun. So this means that is your friend. We can use صديقك as the subject or mubtada of a sentence. We can say صديقك طويل. And here we go from definite, صديقك is definite because it has the possessive suffix, to indefinite, صديقك طويل means your friend is tall. So let's talk about possessive pronouns, الضمائر المتصلة, which are a huge part of Arabic. Possessive pronouns are suffixes that attach to the end of a noun. They cannot attach to the end of an adjective nor a verb, but they can attach to a preposition, as we'll see. Adding a suffix changes final ta marbuta back into regular old ta. Adding a possessive pronoun suffix always renders its noun definite. Since the noun is already definite because of the pronoun suffix, the noun cannot have alif lam. Talib is student. If we add alif lam, we make it at-talib, the student, which is definite. If we make it talibuk, we add a possessive suffix. That makes it definite. Your student, and we cannot add alif lam to this. Talibatuk, your student. Notice that now the student is a woman because we've taken the ta in ta marbuta and untied it into regular old ta because it's no longer the last letter in the word. Talibatuk, your student. And then we have dhakia. Dhakia is indefinite. طالبتك is definite because it has a possessive suffix, so we know that this is a sentence and it means your student is smart. And then lastly, hiya is a pronoun, so it's definite. طالبتنا, our student, it's definite as well, but in this particular form, where we have a definite word and then another definite word with a possessive suffix, we know it's a sentence, so it means she is our student. Let's take a look at our book. هذا كتابه الجميل. هذا is definite because it's a demonstrative, this, that, these, those. كتابه, now we've added the possessive suffix ho for his or its to the end of kitab. Watch out, because the final ho on the end of kitabahu looks an awful lot like ta marbuta without its dots, so they're really easy to mix up, so be careful about that. هذا kitabahu, this is his book, and then we have al-jamil. Notice that jamil is definite here, and the reason it's definite is because kitabuhu is definite. This is a phrase, not a sentence. It never becomes indefinite. We want jamil to agree with kitabuhu, so the only way to make an adjective definite is to add alif lam. So kitabuhu al-jamil means his beautiful book. This is a little counterintuitive for an English speaker, so be careful. If we're going to make them plural, we're going to change hadha to hadahi because non-human plural is feminine singular. We're going to change kitabuhu to kutubuhu, his books, not his book. And we're going to change jamil to jamila, again because non-human plural is feminine singular. But we have to add the alif lam to jamila in order to make it agree with kutubuhu. These are his beautiful books. Let's look at a page. We can say, هذه ورقتها الصغيرة. This is a phrase, not a sentence. هذه is definite because it's a hadha word. ورقتها, her page, is definite because of its possessive suffix. Notice also that we have untied the ta in ta marbuta on the end of waraqa and made it regular old ta. And then as-saghira, it needs its ta marbuta because waraqa is feminine. It needs its alif lam because waraqatuha is definite. This is her small page. If we make them plural, we say hadihi again because non-human plural is feminine singular and a waraqa is feminine singular to begin with. We change waraqa to awraq and then add the possessive suffix, her pages, and then as-saghira stays the same because awraquha is both definite and feminine singular, and this means these are her small pages. If we look at the book again, kitabuhu al-jamil. Kitabuhu is definite because of its possessive suffix. Al-jamil is definite because of alif lam. Jadid is indefinite. So we know that this is a sentence, definite, definite, indefinite. We put the is in between the final two words. So kitabuhu al-jamil jadid means his beautiful book is new. This takes a little unpacking if you're an English speaker, but it's not really that hard to get used to. If we make them plural, we're going to change kitabuhu to kutubuhu, his books. We're going to change al-jamil to al-jamila because non-human plural is feminine singular. And for the same reason, we're going to change jadid to jadida. So kutubuhu al-jamila jadida means his beautiful books are new. Notice in this sentence in the Arabic characters, it's really easy to look at that first final ha at the end of kutubuhu and mistake it for a ta marbuta. It looks exactly like a ta marbuta except without its dots. This is very confusing for first-year students, so be very careful whenever you see a final hu at the end of a word because it looks so very much like ta marbuta. If we look at the page, we can say waraqatuha as-saghira al-bayda. Waraqatuha is definite because it has its possessive suffix. Again, it's also got an untied ta marbuta. As-saghira and al-bayda are both feminine singular and definite. So we have definite, definite, definite here. This is a phrase, not a sentence, and it means her small blank page, her small white page, literally. If we make them plural, we're going to change waraqatuha to awraquha. So just take the plural noun, add the same possessive suffix. And now, just for kicks, we've made both saghira and bayda indefinite. So this makes it a sentence. Awraquha is definite because of its possessive suffix, but then we get an indefinite adjective, in fact, a pair of them. Therefore, this is a sentence, and the R goes between awraquha and saghira. So her pages are small, and then we have to add the and in here, and blank. Let's discuss what happens when we use possessive pronouns with adjectives. Note carefully that we cannot put the possessive pronoun on the adjective. We can only put it on the noun, or sometimes a preposition. Remember that a possessive pronoun always makes its noun definite, so we cannot put alif lam on that noun. But in a phrase, the noun's adjective needs to be definite. If the noun is definite because of its possessive suffix, the adjective needs to be definite as well to make it a phrase and not a sentence. And the only way to make an adjective definite is to add alif lam. So we're going to learn some words for relatives here. Is one word for mother, so ummi, my mother. And now we're going to take the adjective latif. Latif means nice or sometimes generous. So we have to add alif lam on latifa as well, because ummi, because of its possessive suffix, e, is definite. So in order to make the adjective agree with it and make it a phrase rather than a sentence, we have to add alif lam to latifa. Notice that gives us two lems in a row there. Al and then latifa. If ummi is my mother, ummuk is your mother. And now we're simply going to say latifa without the alif lam, and that makes it a sentence. Ummuk is definite because of its possessive suffix. Latifa is indefinite, so we put the is in between the two of them and get your mother is nice. Here we have ummuhu, his mother, al-latifa, so that makes it a phrase. Ummuhu is definite because of its possessive suffix. Al-latifa is definite because of alif lam. So ummuhu al-latifa means his nice mother. And then we have an indefinite adjective, so that makes it a sentence. His nice mother is smart. Ummuha, her mother, al-latifa, al-dhakiya, all three words are definite. So we know that this is a phrase rather than a sentence, and we get her nice, smart mother. Let's do a little fancy Arabic here. If we're going to pronounce this sentence in the full fancy Arabic way, we're going to say Kitabuhu al-jamilu jadidun. Both halves of the sentence are in the marfu' case because it is the default case, and we have no reason here for either of them to be in either of the other two cases. But notice that we put the case marking, the single dhamma, in between the ba of kitab and the hu for the suffix. Kitabuhu, his book, al-jamilu, it has to agree with kitabu, and then jadidun is indefinite, so it gets the tanween dam character. 99% of the time, people will say kitabuhu al-jamil jadid, but if we're speaking fancy Arabic, we say kitabuhu al-jamilu jadidun. His beautiful book is new. It means the same thing, only fancier. If we make them plural, we're going to say kutubuhu al-jamilatu jadidatun, where we have taken kitab and turned it into kutub to make it plural, but the dhamma for the case marking comes before the possessive suffix, so kutubuhu, and then al-jamilatu, we hear the ta and ta marbuta when we're pronouncing things with case markings typically, and then jadidatun, his beautiful books are new. Same thing as kutubuhu al-jamila jadida, but it's fancier. Same thing goes for when we talk about a feminine object. Waraqattuha as-saghiratu al-bayda'u. So here with waraqa, ta marbuta unties and turns into regular ta, and we put our case marking there before the possessive suffix. As-saghiratu, again, we hear the dhamma and the ta marbuta when we're pronouncing things in fancy Arabic, and then al-bayda'u. So this is just a fancy way of saying her small blank page. If we make it plural, non-human plural is feminine singular, but here again, just for kicks, we've changed the adjectives to being indefinite to make it a sentence, just to show how the pattern works. So waraqattuha becomes awraquha. Again, the case marking goes between the noun and the possessive suffix. Saghiratun wa bayda'u. So saghira, because it's indefinite and feminine, we hear the ta in ta marbuta and the from the tanween dam character. And just because Arabic is ludicrously complicated, bayda is one of the patterns of words that are called diptotes or mamnu' min as-sarf and can't take tanween endings, so that's why it gets a single dhamma. You, as a first-year student, do not have to care about this. And this is just a fancy way of saying her pages are small and blank. So when we're using case markings with possessive suffixes, the case marking goes between the noun and the pronoun suffix, not after the pronoun suffix. Any noun with the E suffix for my doesn't get a case marking because it has a long vowel ending. And since we're talking about relatives, watch out for the words ach for brother and eb for father, which for historical reasons take their case markings as long vowels. So for his nice mother, if we're saying it in fancy Arabic, we're going to say ummuhu. The second dhamma is for the possessive suffix. The first one is the case marking, ummuhu al-latifatu, his nice mother. But for father, we don't say abuk, we say abuk. We have to use the case marking as a long vowel waw instead of a short vowel dhamma. These words are very, very commonly used, which is why we have to deal with them. So abuk latifun, your father is nice. Abuk is definite because of its possessive suffix. Latifun is indefinite, so this is a sentence. Your father is nice. Ach, brother, is going to work just like ab, father. So instead of saying achuha, we have to say achuha. It's definite because of its possessive suffix. So al-Latif agrees with it. The two of them together make a phrase, her nice brother. And then we add an indefinite adjective to turn it into a sentence. Her nice brother is smart. Abi, my father. We don't have to bother with the case marking because it has the long vowel E ending. Abi al-Latif, my nice father. And then adheki, another definite adjective, makes the whole thing a phrase rather than a sentence. My nice, smart father. I could go on for quite a while about case and case markings, but the important takeaways here are that the possessive suffixes for each pronoun render its noun definite, and therefore that noun may not have alif lam. Here are the possessive suffixes that go along with the major suffix pronouns. We say e for my, and that eliminates the need for any case marking. We say ek or ka for your for a man. We say ik or ki for your for a woman, though in colloquial speech there's really no difference between the two. We use final hu for his or its. This looks almost exactly like a ta marbuta except without its dots, so be very careful about that. Sometimes the hu becomes a he. This will be explained later. Hiya, our ending is ha. It looks like ha with a long vowel, but it's just pronounced ha. Same thing goes for na, for nahnu, for our. The suffix ending for antum, for y'all, becomes kum, and the suffix ending for hum is simply hum, although once in a while it will become him. That will be explained later. Here are the suffix endings for the uncommonly used dual and female only you and they pronouns. Again, the words al-mubtada and al-khabar for subject or predicate. And here are some common words for relatives. So again, ab and ach, when they have alif lam on them, they're al-ab and al-ach. But when they don't have alif lam on them, they take their case markings as long vowels. So sometimes abu and akhu will be aba and akha, or abi and akhi. But don't worry about that right now. Just learn to recognize them. The plural of ab is al-aba. The plural of ach is al-ikhwa, which can also mean siblings in general. Al-ukht is sister. It has a dhamma at the beginning, and its plural is akhawat with a fatha at the beginning. Al is mother. It has an oddball plural, al-ummahat. It has an extra hat in there for no particular reason. Al-ibn means son. The plural is abna, which can mean children in general. At-tafel is a word for child. If we put a ta marbuta on it, it's a girl child. Its overall plural is al-atfal. And then because in Arabic a lot of things come in pairs and we need to use duals, the matchup of the dual and the E suffix is a little bit odd. So for right now, just memorize this one single word, walidayya, my two parents, because it comes up a lot in discourse. For now, however, the key takeaway is that the possessive pronoun renders the noun definite and therefore it cannot have alif lam.